Chaori. If you don't know Chaori, we do a video about him. But if you don't know him, at the youth way, overcome all these assassinations, uplift in country from which is Burkina Faso in West Africa, from colonialism and all these things.
That this month must be recognized as the Rastafari month. And that's why we are here in support of Abraham Torres to liberate Mother Africa from the white colonizers.
Is it okay to celebrate Shaka Zulu leader? Do you know who that is?
I know who Shaka Zulu is.
He killed a lot of people. Is it fine to celebrate him?
A remote town in the country's north, often called the last outpost of apartheid. Why? Because Orania is a whites-only town. Black people cannot live or work here.
As for Nelson Mandela, the man credited with ending apartheid, the people of Orania don't really hold him in high regard.
I don't think that I can see him as a hero.
Is that dentist, by the way?
A black person in my chair not too long ago called me the N-word. More specifically, he called me his N-word. You my
nigga.
Never happened to me before. Never had a black person, definitely not at work, for sure. I don't think any time in my entire life has that ever happened. At the same time, he puts his hand out like this. You my N-word. Puts his hand out, and then my hand goes into his. So imagine one of these hands is black. And then the hands come together. It felt like a sonic boom was created. This warmth entered my body, and I felt like we solved racism just right then and there.
Weird.
Like, it was like everything's okay. We are cool AF. We're good. That's what it felt like. You my, boom, hand clasp, sonic boom, racism solved. So now I'm his ride or die, and I don't think he knows that. So black people, you want a ride or die white person? Call him your N-word.
Big up for yourself.
Respect to subscriber them. Hey, respect for joining me again. One more day, one more episode.
It's an episode.
That's it.
You see me? Cause you don't know. Oh, Africa. Why you go on? You see me I say?
That episode, yeah. Come here, I say Africa. That episode, yeah. Surrounding Africa, you know. Africa for the Africans.
That's why I beat me Afro. So I say, no, this is why I support cartel no. In a Gaza shirt and fitted. It's straight jeans and
listen,
fitted.
Man.
Even
cartel will tell you. Even cartel will tell you. Watch on man.
Wait.
Africa for the Africans.
You see me I say, big up on yourself, people. You see me I say, me say one look at Clinton and run from what year. You see me I say, what am I say? Chaori. If you don't know Chaori, we do a video about him. But if you don't know him, at the youth way, overcome all these assassinations, uplift in country from which is Burkina Faso in West Africa, from colonialism and all these things. It might make big waves in our media. So everywhere you turn on your TV, you go see this leader in a soldier suit. You see me I say this president in a soldier suit. I wonder, you see me? Which, a military man. Then, we don't know him. But what you know now, them have this narrative around where a whole of misinformation are going, especially in a Jamrock here, where they must say, Andrew Holness, I refuse, I rejected an invitation or a visit from the president of Burkina Faso, which is Ibrahim Traore.
In 2017, that this month must be recognized as the Rastafari month. And that's why we are here in support of Abraham Torres to liberate Mother Africa from the white colonizers. My name is Priest Wesley Kelly. I'm the high priest for the Haile Selassie, Jah Rastafari, Royal Ethiopian Judah Coptic Church. We are here today to celebrate and to upkeep the work of Abraham Torres, the president of Burkina Faso. We are in support of the president for the liberation of our black mother country, Africa. So while we are gathered here in support of Abraham Torres, the black liberator that may come in will be in coordination of Black Liberation Day. So that's where we are all gathered here today. The 30th of the month, that this month, April, is the month of the Rastafari month, that we have claimed proclamation in 2017, that this month must be recognized as the Rastafari month. And that's why we are here in support of Abraham Torres to liberate Mother Africa from the white colonizers.
Blessed be the Most High Emperor Haile Selassie the First, Jah Rastafari. We are here today as African descendants in the diaspora. We are here supporting and our African leaders coming together in one unity to show love, to show peace, to show joy and happiness to Mother Africa once more. So we are here standing up for the rights of our people. The last year, Jah Rastafari.
What led to this gathering this morning?
It's just the fire that burn from colonialism. They make them know if they ease off and leave I and I alone. So you know, yeah, so you know what go. I just Africa we say. Round and about near and far, worldwide, Mama Africa, to everyone. All African leaders just make we unite and come together in one. Yeah, and all Caribbean islands, yeah. So you know Jamaica have to lead out for the world and its people, so you don't know. One perfect love, Rastafari.
Elder is a real elder. Elder Wesley, High Priest Wesley Kelly. Seeing, and that's where the thing start from, I think. Misinformation. You see, because other Pan-Africanist group and the Rastafarian group, them did gather and make the advocacy. You're going to High Priest, I try to say, advocate for Traore forward and then agitate.
Yeah.
They don't have to see with the elder them. You see me I say when they reach the stage, I just the closest word come to them brain. But you see if you listen to context, you know what they must say. Me hear incessant thing look a while still. That look like one church group. You know what I say?
No, Rastaman them watch you know. Rastaman them eventually just call it a church because the church get enough more. And we call it
Recognition.
No only recognition. Them can do more things in our church.
In a society.
In a society, like a church, right?
Understandable.
Let me give you an example, because I don't know a word of a fine. A church can take one piece of land and capture it in a Jamaica and just say it's a church piece of land this. You get me? They not go pay for it eventually, you know. It's a church because of recreational.
They are more privileged.
Yeah, recreational. It's when you get the land for recreational use, you can get it.
Because me they have a problem.
So if the rest of them do the same thing.
Because I know Anaya Bingy ground. So me I say, I just want secret space.
Yeah, but in Naya Bingy ground, them all of them I think one of them Naya Bingy will Naya Bingy a town. I think one Rastaman literally buy the land there. You see it?
Oh.
And think some of land them was given to them from some old leaders all time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, yeah man. So it was a church group. So here we go. And they say rumor start. Because here we go. We don't want information on the call to critical thinking 876. Or if we don't want to listen to the next best thing, a Wikipedia.
Yeah, because I'm going to tell them when I say TikTok, what you say? TikTok take over early and no doubt, you know, but TikTok turn some idiot in a verse of idiot and TikTok help turn the rest of people them in an idiot. You know, me hear somebody say it one time. I'm gonna disbelieve it, you know. How them say it is like this, right? One night time, they say one idiot in the community in by himself, and the whole of in the community just don't say, no, say that brother they lose on screw. We're not really listening. But you can go up on Facebook and TikTok and go gather up with other idiots from other community. Them a go come on, them a go become one bungle and group. So it's when them are one group, they say things and people believe. Yeah, somebody will just put a video up on TikTok to say Andrew Wellness, I refuse way from visit from Traore, right? And he make TikTok read out it, you know. And you hear that and say, right, somebody write it. You know, search no with it. You know, try do your research on it. You
tell you where research section there these days. I'm tell you where research section there these days. A comment. A comment a research section. And you see when you go a comment, you go see the top 20 idiot them. Yeah man, a true a long time and Joe for Lego boy. Yeah.
So you don't know say So you know, say exactly what you say true. I comment.
And
you know, I believe, and that's why X them have to have community
note.
notes.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Twitter have to have community note.
Twitter,
so when
yeah, X.
somebody come in our video, this is why, all right, go, people, let's go to TikTok, go on a Twitter. I mean, Twitter is probably not as interesting as one time, like TikTok, give you the video them so quick and rare, you have to search, but here we're going. TikTok for Twitter for information because
watch TikTok same way. Nobody say you can't watch TikTok.
And if
but if you see information on TikTok, go X and search for it.
Yeah, man. Because guess what now? Elon Musk implement something where on Twitter where he make a community, the same group of people, liable to go find the correct information, for fact proof, fact check what you would just say. So you can watch this video and make a statement to say, yo, Andrew Holness did reject Ibrahim Traore. All our information, all our sources, all our people, them work one time to find out if this is true, yes or no. And if it's not true, them make you know right this on that comment.
Can watch now. With the Traore visit where people say Andrew Holness are reject. Me
Again,
sure
not
no
true.
say you never see it for one news where Andrew Holness did it. And nowadays though you can't watch anything, you know. Because right now one interview is supposed to be up on YouTube or on live with Traore, where it's not a real interview, you know. A AI developed interview. You notice if you upload video to YouTube right now, YouTube will give you one specific part you choose if you put AI in your video. If someone AI take over a world, don't believe everything you see in a one little TikTok video. Do your research. And you don't want the research, just forward a critical thinking, as you say. I will have the research for now. Is it?
I will do it for you, man.
Yeah,
just comment it. Say, yo, I don't say nothing about that. We're going, what do you hear? Just drop it on the randomest video. We just
yeah, man, we see it. I tell you, we see it.
We see it.
I watch this now.
Big up, you know.
Yeah, what me feel say, enough people will see. Enough people will see they visit from Traore to Russia, right? I'm pretty sure, well, Traore visit places, yes. So naturally, Russia, he would stop off a Jamaican rare. But watch out now. We are going to see Russia sent for him, you know, and Russia only sent for him, you know.
So that was
remember,
an
Russia.
It wasn't a visit.
Yeah, it wasn't a visit. Remember, Russia been through some things, right?
With Africa.
Exactly. Remember now, say, Burkina Faso come out of some things with the French, them. But them kick them out of the country.
Russia and French now deal.
You see it? So the whole fact say,
my enemy
is my friend. Who else you that look strength from? If you are a prime minister and you're Traore, who you that look strength from to protect your borders and protect your country now?
Next superpower.
Yeah, next superpower where you know say French them afraid of. Once the French them here say me visit Russia, and Russia accept me that way, they know say nobody come try now.
Yeah, have problems.
Anything them are planning at them head, nobody try.
We have one big bully over.
Yes. So and you why it makes sense why man do it. Them try assassinate him since he become president more than once. So it's like to show the French them say
next time you try
repercussions be there. Serious repercussions.
You see me? So but nonetheless,
we're gonna show you visit.
I saw they accept him.
We're gonna show you visit to Russia.
Oh, the video I got tell you now. Russia did have a celebration the day after him forward. Like them natural, like an independence, so to say. You see me I say? So,
yeah, basically.
Yeah, do I think they look extra.
What you are watching here is Captain Ibrahim Traore arriving in Russia for Russia Victory Day. May 9, 2025, Russia's Victory Day, celebrated annually on May 9th, commemorates the Soviet Union's defeat of Nazi Germany in World War II, known as the Great Patriotic War in Russia. The holiday marks the signing of the German Instrument of Surrender in Berlin on May 8, 1945, which took effect at 11:01 p.m. Moscow time, making May 9 the official victory date in the Soviet Union. The war, which began with Germany's invasion of the Soviet Union in June 1941, was catastrophic, costing millions of Soviet lives. Estimates range from 20 to 27 million, including soldiers and civilians. Key battles like Stalingrad and Kursk turned the tide against the Nazis, leading to the Red Army's advance into Berlin. The victory solidified the Soviet Union's status as a global superpower but left deep scars. Victory Day was first celebrated in 1945, with spontaneous nationwide rejoicing It became an official holiday in 1965 under Leonid Brezhnev, with military parades in Moscow's Red Square showcasing Soviet might. The event grew in scale, featuring veterans, tanks and flyovers, symbolizing national pride and resilience. After the Soviet Union's collapse in 1991, the holiday briefly lost prominence but was revived under Vladimir Putin as a cornerstone of Russian identity, emphasizing patriotism and military strength. Today, Victory Day includes parades, concerts, fireworks and tributes to veterans across Russia. The Immortal Regiment March, where citizens carry photos of relatives who fought, has become a poignant tradition. Globally, the day resonates in former Soviet states, though interpretations vary, with some nations viewing it through the lens of Soviet occupation. In Moscow, it remains a potent display of unity and power, often attended by foreign leaders, as seen with Captain Ibrahim Traoré in 2025.
Now we sell all Jamaica. We sell all...
Yeah, Jamaica. You know, you have freaking man. I see him today, I pay, you know.
Oh,
we invite him, man. I don't even want to Jamaica, eh?
Oh,
We are going to invite him, man, for America Airlines, eh? JetBlue, eh?
Bro, you know what wickedest thing? Well, you know what wickedest thing now? I'm going to show you Jamaica people. I'll show you Jamaica people, right?
Yo.
You know what I say? If, we know it's not the case, Andrew Wallace are rejected now, right? But what if the case if Andrew Wallace did half of the man visit? No, not accept it. Just half of the man to visit for real, right? And spend up couple million Jamaican dollars to get one of them plane there, get the security in place, get everything in place. And man, Barack Obama did that forward there. Say a road fix. You remember that, right? And get everything in place and get him on here. You know, say at the end of the day, when some journalists go do the research and tell we on news, say Andrew Holness spend
fix the whole of Hope Road.
$655 million a day if we get throw away for visit.
I want private
to visit for 45 minutes. Right? And even do one press conference or something. You know, say you said another complaint. You said another complaint, bro. I tell you. So listen, man, not take certain things just so.
On that note of not taking things just so, using a brain. Sealer. Sorry. Him and them attempt to kill him twice already.
Yeah.
I don't want him man come and
forward that Jamaica come dead. Don't tell me now. Hey, we don't call him dead for the president. But tell me now, look on it away.
Little Jamaica.
What if a man forward a little Jamaica come anything wrong with him? If I ever say COVID, I never COVID. He just catch a flu. Just a flu him catch.
Rotted. We are a problem.
We in a problem,
we are
man.
a serious problem
for
all countries in support of him. You hear me I say? And look what country accepted him so warmly. When the Kremlin
well, I
tell about the Kremlin already. Gaza man, you didn't know tell him say I'll be at the Kremlin alone and lock it all.
Rasta man them protest for Africa unity, right? Like I imagine if a man forward there anything wrong with him, right? Imagine say all the Rasta them we I think we repatriate to have to give up the plan there.
We don't know where to go.
Because we couldn't go back to Africa.
The
African people would like it. Hey,
no, we're not dead.
The African people would right to have Jamaica when they may say travel forward there. So and one mosquito bite him and he end up dead before
Afro-Americans, you have Jam Africans. That is no longer existing in the world.
Tell you
that. See, so yeah man, a serious thing. We don't have to use no wit. But just for once more give on clear publication. Then there is no record of Andrew Holness, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, rejecting an invitation or a visit from the President of Burkina Faso, which is Traoré. So all the people who are around with that for the media, them do we are big enough.
It's just say, come and say, look while whatever they realize the reason when I say, if Traoré forward there, and if I have COVID, it doesn't just say I saying COVID. I remember seeing somebody who say, I'm gonna bring it to one because me see it, I would like to see it too. Because we know where they say so we've been through COVID though. Well, as far as we can see it, the people who say COVID will rise again. So we want to see it and judge upon yourself.
People have been reported dead.
How much?
It's a similar scenario in Thailand as well, where there have been a total of 71,000 COVID-19 infections reported with 19 deaths. According to officials, the number of cases...
Well, you hear me? I don't want me to play this on the face, all news me go find out. So you know what I'm going to show you a 7 hour ago the video release. I'm going to show you. It reach up to 10 hours now. See there?
Our Indian cat this, I remember her name.
Stream live 10 hours ago.
Hey, you see that there in Jackson, you have trouble, you have competition. We have one Indian cat too. But if me talk about my favorite cat them of all time are the Weather Girls. But that's the next story.
Alright. I'm going to take it in because watch on man. I said the COVID did start out. See? And you know, we eventually get into it late. So me no want that happen again. So I want people know from now. I'm not saying that if you go wear a mask or if you believe or whatever. But you just need to know what's going on in that world.
Cases continues to rise in Thailand with 2 major cluster outbreak reported. In China, meanwhile, the Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention reports that testing positivity rates have more than doubled in recent weeks. While a fresh wave of COVID-19 is sweeping across parts of Southeast Asia, the question is, what about India? There's little cause for alarm here in New Delhi. According to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, India currently reports only 93 active COVID-19 cases, and there are no signs of a new wave in the country. But what is causing COVID-19 resurgence in Asia? Why now? Well, the surge is majorly due to the spread of new Omicron subvariants such as JN.1. It is a descendant of the Omicron BA.2.8.6 lineage that was identified in August 2023. It was labeled as a variant of interest by the World Health Organization in 2023.
Well, all of that here the news, like over here, it was labeled a variant of interest, as well as he was labeled as a person of interest.
But what I know, a variant is a descendant.
It's a descendant. So I mean, upon the say start,
yes,
a descendant
this
is a
thing is a thing. This
is a
thing
thing.
is a person.
Yeah.
Then, this is how them scientists they are start play with flipping health people. That's what we're trying to get to you. You see me? I say, oh no, I worry about blow psycho bunny and then look at something there, bro. And bro, wake up. We're real out here, yeah. I bet you we have to go do back on next story on this.
Yeah, but man, you see you there at Jamaica, we don't see them together, but whatever for the year we pass.
We don't see them
the amount of deaths will go on already for it.
But critical and the amount of there for sure, no.
The amount of positive cases right now out there.
Active cases,
right?
New waves.
And listen, all the scientists them talk about it. The scientists them say. You see me?
Mutations.
It's a descendant variant. And then what you know? Then them
variant of interest.
Variant of interest.
Hold on.
We can't find him.
We can't find him.
Yeah, we don't know the location.
JN virus. Please turn in at the nearest center or the nearest hospital for examination immediately.
Yeah, but no. Where you believe the mass in where you believe the mass in it and then rush him.
Got the bull.
Escape in
nearby bushes. Nearby bodies.
For real, the boy, I'm an idiot. I don't saw the nearby bushes. Escape in a nearby bodies.
Nearby bodies to blow. Can't find him again. Multiple. Yo.
You see, true because we are idiot too. We might listen to news and I take a joke if I say.
Listen, me brother.
Don't follow me, though.
Hey.
It's a news we are real. Listen.
This is real.
This variant features approximately 30 mutations aimed at evading immunity more than any other variant circulating at that time. So what are the symptoms? JN.1 symptoms are largely similar to other COVID-19 variants, including bad throat, fever, runny or blocked nose, dry cough, fatigue, headache, loss of taste or smell.
Yo, boy, that's the fire.
Well, let me say, you know, and that's why we bring it to you, and all the that's why we don't talk about it, because we don't say him. If we get it, we say only somebody we have sense, because I reason, because I listen this with, And them get the said premium, so me get funny. If you say, yo, bro, them literally talk about the thing like it's a wanted man. And about him one no, then catch a couple more, but they see him evade the law.
Brother, you know hear what they say last dog, the last one chub is like by last drip in a bucket. Yo, this your one here specifically come like it designed to evade.
Yeah.
When they say immunization, and that is it. Oh Jesus, man. Come on, man. It's a virus and I talk about it. People, we done. Africa where I go. We done. Sorry.
Yeah, we are Africa, you know. We take a gander upon Africa. What them call?
What kind of gander? Uganda. Alright, people got drink. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Let's go.
Listen, wow, all people them slang me use them man. Stop what I'm saying. When we take a gander upon what go on down in Africa. You see? What them talk about white genocide down in Africa. And you what me have to say before we even go into it, see? You know how much we did in a slavery what we hear about because we never did it. But to hear and watch also movie and things and see how much we did. I know long way about genocide. And nobody never realized until where brother name in America name. When him again?
Mandela.
No man, the one where the tall top hat again, man.
Washington.
No man. The man with them shot in the head when him there watch the opera.
Washington that brother.
Washington that
George Washington.
That Washington with the tall top hat.
Yeah, George. No.
And that the man there, it take to come realize, no, you know, so we are the black people and bad. A people, man. Them are not animal, them are people. I know long way about out. And them are people I know.
Hold on. Because if I Washington, Abraham Lincoln.
Lincoln. You say no, you say name. I shouldn't put remember. And them time there to me, we are ball out, say, slavery, dog, a kill way. You know, see man, them. You have, what him call him, Massa. But we decide, say, we run last week and he just chop off we instead. We never watch a movie, Kunta Kinte. They used to deal with this one way. And we are dead long time when we were born. And then not help, yeah. And now couple white people dead, which is they're not dead in us. I not say they're not dead in South Africa, they're in South Africa too. South Africans are dead too, yes. But in the Congo, at the news where the president did have a report for. We go fact check the president, the American president, we know say he not really, you know.
I heard that.
Yeah. Sometime. But we know the Trump by boss to him do. So we are going to fact check him right now.
For you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa.
Uh-oh. And so it begins.
Well, I can answer that for President.
Trump knows that there's a video. He doesn't know that there's a video.
It's for him. No, seriously. I'd rather have him answer. Yeah, I'd rather answer that.
Yeah, you're going to have him answer it.
Basically, president of South Africa that.
And basically,
president, I say president of South Africa that, right?
Yeah, in a White House.
Yeah.
No, they're having a press conference. The question was, what would it take for you to be convinced that there is no white genocide in South Africa? It was a question to Trump. And the answer, the South African president said, me take that one, man. No, me answer that. Because I'm sure there's no white genocide in South Africa.
And you want to understand people. It's basically an ambush this, you know.
Yeah.
The ambush this I president. If you notice what going on with Zelensky in the first place. It's the way South African president going and ambush to. Where him never did a prepare, say, he need them thing there. It's basically like me get invited to your yard to come eat lunch or dinner.
Yeah.
And when me reach, you start asking me some questions about some things where happen for real, but me never have full disclosure. If you say, yo, Ray about this situation, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a problem, you know. A man can talk about the whole thing, but he can't talk about a specific situation. And at them, the Trump I use to ambush him. When me as a Trump should have run it by him before the press conference. Because the press conference said, bro, we're going to your country with the people them.
They should.
But them not do that.
You feel so?
Them may tell you so.
Oh, you know that.
I might tell why. Notice the answer and the reply from the South African president. And notice how Trump react. If I see if it happen, that would have done happen from behind closed door, you know. So you know, if you say South African president would have a reply to Trump, if you can tell Trump, say, Mr. President, those videos are not from South Africa or wherever then.
Alright. Look on it from this way how me look on it. With Zelensky, saying that a Ukrainian president in the people.
Yeah.
Saying Trump carry him forward at the White House to do this publicly because Zelensky, Trump did not have a hard time a convey theme points across the phone. Then, based on the facts of me, I tell you some things. You, me can see say you are a problem, you know. Then, and people want talk like I'm me a problem. So here what me I gonna do? Me I gonna carry you forward yourself and make the people them see for themselves who the problem is. Cause me I ask him the questions them when me been a ask him and him a avoid and I tell like so for example, let's say him did ask the South African president so what go for genocide. And the South African president, just like how this man proudly I gonna tell him say, I can answer that for you. Cause he must say, no, go so for real in my country. Then so what me I say is me not say adding the fact or take it out so the video might just surface or it surface long time. Then,
No, well I know what me no, well I don't know to break your point, you know. What me I say is you have some specific argument about specific families, specific persons, right? So what me I say is if you have said that to me on the phone or wherever, you're supposed to can bring that to me. And if you bring that to me, right, me we can go do my research on the family here. Where you tell me say John Brown I work on him farm and him family. And some man go over there go kill the whole entire family. See them picture of me I look on right now in front of me from one news article say Ray. And then the president now would have can come reply to it. And I may say when the president reply to the complete no genocide. Not saying that saying no, white people not dying. But you know what's that genocide, right? I have a video where I go explain the genocide to you because I don't want to go on my explanation and then you not get it. But me I tell you say genocide is not one person dying or two somebody dying or just dying. So genocide is like a race of
it's
people.
a world race.
They're being targeted because of your race.
Yes, I mean.
So a person try completely wipe out your race.
Terminate your race.
Exactly.
So you're messing.
And I may say, well, I know the president of South Africa answer towards Trump saying and the reporter saying no genocide now go on. You never ask me say 2 people dead last week or 1 family dead last week. So me can reply to that. If you tell you say yes, it happened to true, bro. But how it happened and after that, I rob them and we are on them people if you get rid of them are ray. You can't call it a genocide. And I say it's an ambush because of how Trump do it.
Well, ambush, I say you're supposed to wear a go in my country. It should happen this way that those bigger heads get all these reports and send it to film decks. Now him seeing this decks with a detailed report, knowing say, alright, this man dead, he guilty, a foolishness in there going with alright, you can let him off file this. This man dead, he just caught up in as collateral. But in dead left, one daughter 11-year-old I got Bustamante eye. Package out for that one. This one dead. You see what I say? That should be the responsibility
yes.
of this thing,
Yes.
of the country's leaders.
Alright.
So I say that with your time I do otherwise.
All the way I say I go pass on to the security minister. And then the security minister get it. And then it's up to him now to really point out say every death is a death, you know. But you go have deaths where 2 criminals in a. So you see them they can be left up to the police to solve the case or whatever, right? For example, 6 somebody dead like I'm down at toll gate for the air. That to me reach the prime minister desk.
Yeah, can reach down there, you know, see fly down there.
Alright. And I say to you, say it to me, we not to blame the prime minister at the back of this. So, if you not reaching this, to me, we have blame
I promise
the other steps I led up. No, I am ultimately get the blame because I'm
that
my
is why I
yeah.
say I don't
But
see it
well,
as
I know,
ambush at
because
the end of the day.
because
These
you
things
know
are really happening in your country, you know. Whether or not you did implement
if I want security minister We are gonna make everything reach in this.
Everything reach my decks. And if me cannot oversee it, me I delegate the responsibility to you to oversee it. Make sure you compensate for these families as best as you can. We have one budget, we are put on for that specifically. Go crazy.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here.
But, Mr. President, I must say that we have, wait.
Mr. President, I must say.
Is Natalie here? Somebody here to turn that, and turn the lights down.
Blow. This is
The content
cinema.
president. Turn down the lights. We're going to watch this together.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from we don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We have to occupy land. South African occupy land. That's who we are. Never be scared.
See Julius.
Bro, look at his face. Look at his fucking face.
I'm that.
Can't play, you know. They hear that, I tell them.
I'm that. Look at the man face.
Watch Trump face as a John Crow.
Yes, a Trump no to, you know. And I say, a man say to Trump, say, bro, just help me get rid of Malima now. I mean,
yeah, that's a Trump. Like he tune in that video.
Well, watch out. You see Malima don't know. And nobody can understand the language. But him claims English, he might do it in a thing, you know. A man a chant, it's a chant. Like a Rasta man them in a video before, they did a chant. A chant is an African chant. But the chant is kill the farmers. You see, back then, way back then, when we in a slavery and all them shit, them chant they come from way back. You get me? So when he might do it now, him say it all in the interviews. Say it's not literally say.
You get the people
I think him said now in interviews.
Yeah, man, I watch the interview
or whatever. But you're not gonna see it.
Is this real? Yes, this is real. This is in the White House right now, today. Ooh, pa, pa, ooh.
Shoot to kill.
Yeah,
what the man say? Shoot to kill.
This is crazy.
So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They meet a terrible pain. Because they've turned a white man.
And you can see that he's not looking at it.
Exactly.
But we're starting with
He can't look funny because I'm saying no.
Here's your stack of receipts.
But I'm going to show you say it's an ambush still. Big man think it's an ambush. Shoot to kill. You hear what they do? That's what they say. Kill the poor.
Who will expropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not. If they object, they can seek refugee in America.
Listen to this again.
Who will expropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not. If they object, they can seek refugee in America.
Now this is very bad.
This is very bad.
Yeah, but also I'm playing this a little still for sure. Say I basically an ambush. Trump ambush, man. Cause you see, Mali, my brother, when I video with them that play, it's like opposition and wholeness, which is
Goalie.
Marky
G,
yeah.
Golden.
Yeah. So we're not gonna see some clips. When I play like we're gonna see some clips I went in a parliament, I understand. Alright, I said chant this.
You also want me to interpret the language you hear?
Yes. What is it?
Kiss the Boer, kiss the farmer. I thought it's English.
It is?
Yes.
And what does that mean?
It means kiss.
Kiss how?
The outspoken Julius
Sello Malema is arguably one of the most respected leaders of our time.
They
And
are
this is
boss.
Zalendo Media. My name is Elosi Sarah St.
And
Pierre
stop
to
follow
keep
white
you
people.
informed. So
And put
Julius
down with
Sello
black leaders
Malema is a
then.
South African politician who is also a member of the parliament and a leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters, a party which he founded in 2013. He is a Pan-African. He tackles things in a way that leaves people flabbergasted with their mouths open. Let's take a look at Julius Malema's moments that shocked the whole world.
One. Yeah, you don't laugh. Chief,
Why
can you
the
get
quote I'm
security to
dealing
remove this thing here?
to remove this thing here?
If you're not going to behave, you're going to call security to take you out. This is not a newsroom, this. This is a revolutionary house. And you don't come here with that tendency. Don't come here with that white tendency. Not yet. You can do it somewhere else. Not yet.
Not yet.
If you've got a tendency of undermining blacks even where you work, you are in the wrong place. Yeah, you are in the wrong place. That's rubbish. And you can go out. Yeah, you can go out. Rubbish is what you have covered in that trouser. That is rubbish. That which you have covered in this trouser is rubbish. Okay?
Yo, and that you want to
do I didn't come here to be come out.
Then outside of this, the youth are racist in believing in Africa.
Yeah.
Saying him will strong, him words are true. That no mean he know nothing about being a politician and running the country.
I feel like, listen, I feel like this brother here, family them are come forward out of slavery, which him forward now and can realize it. White people still around South Africa, not the whole of Africa, you know. It's South Africa with him there, and him a try to do something like a try we don't know for a long time. That's that me believe. And it's like him a try to return in and work. Because I realize that black people willing to champion the next black leader, we are still put the white people them over black people, bro. And that's why I feel say this brother radical, so he literally will tell a white somebody in front of him face, yo, you can't talk to me so.
Yeah. But what I say is that's not the best sitting there for your leader.
Yeah, if you're a leader, if you're a best approach.
You see me?
No
leader, best quality for your leader. So right now that would have lead me to believe now.
And that's why him not lead the country.
If him can lead the country.
That's why him not lead the country.
But he's a good leader just to see.
Go out! Bastard! Go out!
As him a lead the economic freedom fighters. Speech is a mission statement then, so to speak. People reflect with it.
Alright, if you can notice what up on the screen right now, at the same brother with it over this.
Over chump them bad.
So here we go on now, seeing? This is when him in a parliament and Malema in the two. So we check out what go on. In a parliament when him in.
About me. Should I do so? If I were
you
to
can
do
take
so,
me to court. You can no,
He's answering
this is
you,
not your house.
Honorable Malema.
This is not
Honorable Malema. It's not your turn. Honorable Malema. Point of order. Honorable
Everyone
Malema.
speaks here. This is our house.
No, Honorable Malema, you have
can
asked
take
your
action
question.
against me.
The level of democracy in South Africa is actually mind-boggling. He is asking the president to take an action against him.
Nationalized.
No, there will be a direct foreign investment in South Africa because direct foreign investment, it depends on the stability of a country. It depends on the
How do you reassure the foreign investors?
No, you must give me a chance to speak unless you want to have this interview with yourself. Then we can give you a chance to speak alone.
Okay.
Because you're asking me questions, I'm responding to them, and that's the whole intention of this conversation. We are going to ensure that we take control of our own economy.
Man up clear, bro.
Honorable Malema, I have yet to rule on this motion.
Yeah, but you gave him an opportunity to speak before you even ruled on Godrich. Because the procedure is such that you must rule on Godrich before you give him. You broke your own rules, so allow me to proceed.
Will he be allowed to proceed?
Proceed.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you very much, Chairperson of the NCOP.
Yeah.
Sitting in front of us here, it's a man who
Are you
is
on a point of
incorrigible.
order?
An incorrigible man rotten to the core.
Rotten
And
to
that
the
has
core.
been found by the Constitutional Court. And this story that
Honorable
you voted,
Malema.
the story
Honorable
that you
Malema.
voted majority to keep him, it doesn't make him
Honorable
a
Malema,
legitimate
that is not
president.
a point of order.
But listen to me. Listen to me.
That is not a point of order.
But listen to me, chairperson of the NCO.
Yes, but that is not a point of order. You put on a point of order.
What was Jackson's point? What was Jackson's point? What was Jackson's point?
Can I rule?
No, but let me speak. What was Jackson's point? We're all equal here. We're all equal here. Jackson did not rise on any point in the rules. I'm following in what he did. So I'm saying
I'm following
the
what he
fact
did.
that majority voted
Hey, bro,
against the
that
constitutional decision, it doesn't make the majority right. You voted against the Nkanda report, which was declared by the Constitutional Court that you were in breach of the Constitution by voting against the Nkanda report. You are repeating the same mistake. Mr. Zuma has collapsed his own right to address us here.
Can you allow
Mr.
us to
President,
rule on the matter?
441 soldiers will never protect you.
Point of order.
Your problem is not outside.
Point of order.
Your problem is here. There is no soldier here. Here we're elected.
Honorable Malema.
You want soldiers to defend
Honorable
you.
Malema.
Let soldiers form a political party and come
Honorable
in here.
Malema, please.
Inside here they will never come in.
5.
Honorable Malema, I don't think you are going to raise anything that is not covered by what I have said.
You are making a mistake because you are reading my mind.
Honorable Malema.
Please, Speaker, can I speak? Because
on what?
on the
Honorable?
same points that members are raising, you are not doing me. You are not doing me any favor, and none of these people who are howling are doing me any favor. It is within my right to speak as a member of this House and remind you that it is incorrect of you to want to suggest that when the president speaks, you suspend the rules. The rules are not suspended, and the rules must apply even when the president speaks. And you have not answered the question of Dr. Vauda. Stop treating people as a group, treat them as individual members of this House and respond to them as individual members. The individual member that spoke, you explain he sat down. The other one spoke, you explain he sat down. When Vauda's turn comes, you say, I've responded to you, and you are insisting, and he was speaking for the first time. Stop treating people as a group. We're speaking as individual members. We want the president to answer a simple question. When is he paying the money as by the public protector? That's all we're asking.
6.
Will you please withdraw the remarks that Honorable Ramaphosa was engaged in the conspiracy to commit murder and that he is...
Will he withdraw?
Cyril is a murderer, and Cyril participated in the conspiracy to murder
A
workers.
point of order, Chair.
Honorable I will come to your point of order. Are you going to withdraw Honorable Malema?
Cyril Ramaphosa is a murderer and participated in the conspiracy to kill the workers in
So you are not prepared to withdraw?
You can take me to jail for that. Cyril has got blood of innocent
Honorable
people.
Malema, thank you very much. Honorable...
That. I will never apologize to Cyril. Cyril must rot in jail. He's a murderer. He killed our
Honorable
people.
Malema.
He killed
I
If you
asked
are
you-
going to use this parliament to
Honorable
protect murderers,
Malema.
I'm not going to agree to that. So why do you switch off my mic if you want me to speak?
I don't want you to speak. I asked you
But why
to
did
do
you
one
ask
thing.
me to stand up? Why did you ask me to stand up?
Because I asked you to withdraw.
Switch on the mic.
No, I'm not going
So
to do
I'm
that.
not listening to you also.
Honorable Malema, will you please leave the house?
I'm not leaving.
Will you please
I'm not
leave the
leaving.
house?
I'm not leaving.
I'm not leaving.
8.
Again, as I said, it's for the individual to decide whether he hates somebody or not.
Apartheid did not teach white people to hate black people. Is that what you are saying?
There was a doctrine, but it's not necessarily that everyone accepts the doctrine.
Did apartheid teach white people to hate black people?
I've given my answer.
But I'm asking a question. Did
You know, answer,
apartheid
brother.
teach? It doesn't matter whether individuals decide to choose to accept the teachings or not. Did apartheid teach white people to hate black people?
Yeah.
No.
Apartheid didn't teach
Because
them.
there were many people that I knew as a child that did not hate people from the other color.
No, that
Apartheid shame taught white people to love black people. Is that what you are saying to me? That's why it was so nice, apartheid. That's why you joined the army.
Oh, that's not what I'd said.
I'd
said what I'd said.
It must be made clear that it is a multi-party committee.
On a point
Thank you very
of order,
much.
on a point of order.
And
Chair.
All right, see, we feel like we need to understand way to forward from make a politician or a political leader like him then we're so radical in our country against white people. Why him so racist then? Straight, blatant, you get me?
Is a white genocide taking place in South Africa? In May 2025, the United States welcomed the first group of South Africans granted asylum amidst claims of mass killings in the country. But while the US government points to a policy of eradication, a claim Trump highlighted when he met the South African president just a few weeks later, the allegations have been widely refuted. So, what exactly lies behind this story? No crime is more serious than genocide, defined by the 1948 Genocide Convention as acts intended to destroy, either in whole or in part, a national, ethnic, racial or religious group. It doesn't just include killing members of that group. Conspiring, inciting or attempting to cause serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, deliberately inflicting conditions to bring about the group's destruction, measures to prevent births and forcibly transferring children to another group are all punishable crimes under the convention. All this has once again come to international attention with the high-profile claims by President Trump that a genocide is occurring against the white Afrikaner community in South Africa. However, while these claims have also been endorsed by Elon Musk and amplified through his artificial intelligence app, is there any evidence at all for such a serious accusation? Before going any further, it's important to lay out a little context. South Africa's population is currently around 63 million. According to the 2022 census, 81% of citizens are black African, followed by mixed race at 8%. Whites are at 7% and 2.7% are Asian or Indian. The most spoken first language is Zulu, spoken by around 23% of the population, followed by Xhosa at 16%. Afrikaans, the primary language of South Africa's white population, is the third most spoken language with 9%, there, right? And English is in fifth position at a little over 8%. South Africa has a rich history stretching back.
That's the way I say.
South Africa have 21 times the amount of people Jamaica have 3 million people.
South Africa has a rich history stretching back thousands of years. However, our story really begins with the arrival of European explorers in the 15th century. By the early 17th century, Dutch colonists established a settlement at the Cape of Good Hope, and from there the community steadily expanded and formed its own distinct Afrikaner identity. This eventually led to the creation of two states in the mid-19th century, the South African Republic and the Orange Free State. However, while the white Afrikaners were pushing inland, Britain also established a foothold. Having seized the Cape in 1795, it waged a series of wars with the indigenous black African populations before defeating and annexing the Afrikaner states. In 1910, the various colonies and territories were merged to become the Union of South Africa. This lasted until 1931, when South Africa, alongside other predominantly white British colonies, effectively gained independence as a dominion under the British Crown. Having now gained full statehood, the critical turning point came in 1948 when the National Party took power following a general election. Having stood on a policy of Afrikaner nationalism and white supremacy, it began cementing white minority rule by legally separating the country's racial groups and suppressing the rights of the black majority, a policy that came to be known as apartheid. Over the following years, various harsh laws were introduced. In addition to racially defining all South Africans as white, black, coloured and Indian, other legislation laid out where the different races could live and work, what schools they could attend and whom they could marry. Eventually, as the white minority cemented complete control over the country's politics and economics, black South Africans were even stripped of their citizenship and forced into nominally independent homelands, the so-called Bantustans. But despite this brutal repression, opposition to apartheid began to grow from the early 1950s, led by various groups, including the African National Congress, the ANC. But while the ruling regime implemented increasingly harsh measures and arrested many prominent leaders, the campaign intensified. As a result, by the late 1980s, the country not only faced frequent strikes and protests, but also widespread international condemnation, including economic sanctions and cultural boycotts. All this eventually had the desired effect. Faced with mounting unrest and a weakening economy, the ruling National Party began dismantling apartheid. In 1990, the ANC was legalised and its jailed leaders were freed, and 4 years later, the African National Congress won South Africa's first democratic elections. As one would imagine, the end of apartheid marked a radical change for South Africa's white population. However, the effects weren't as straightforward as many might imagine. Politically, they certainly lost out. While they continued to participate in the country's political system, they nevertheless became a minority with relatively little influence, especially given the ANC's dominance. However, economically, the white population still enjoyed huge advantages. Although they comprise less than 10% of the population, they continued to hold a disproportionately large part of the country's wealth and dominated key sectors, including property, finance and farming. And while some of the white community experienced economic decline and deprivation, particularly in rural areas, most still had far higher standards of living than the black African community. The problem for the government was that while efforts were made to empower the black population, the pace was slow and often favoured a relatively small elite. As pressure grew for more radical change, attention turned to the critical issue of land reform. Under apartheid, the vast majority of farmland was reserved for the white minority. As a result, successive post-apartheid governments announced their intention to redistribute land, either by returning it to former owners or reforming the rights for black African tenants living and working on white-owned land. But as with other economic reforms, progress was slow, uneven, and often hampered by bureaucracy, legal issues, and political caution. All this meant that while the initial hope had been that a third of white-owned agricultural land would have been passed to black South Africans within 5 years, 2 decades after apartheid, less than 10% had been redistributed. Meanwhile, many of the transfers that had taken place had failed, usually due to poor training and a lack of finance for the new owners. As a result, calls now grew for more radical measures, and it's this that's led to the current situation. I hope you're finding this useful. If so, please do give it a like, and perhaps Afrikaner groups, and from the white-led Democratic Alliance, a member of the ruling coalition, the ANC-led government passed a new law allowing the state to seize property for various public interest reasons, such as conservation, infrastructure projects, and land redistribution.
So you know people, you see the liar, and the liar me feel say get somebody like Elon Musk, as white people that say panties in a bunch, or whatever they want to call it. And that make him push the agenda of genocide. Because he realize say by the country passing the law, they can carry take back their land for sure. That's the only reason when they can't take it back. If we ball wolf, America send some troops down there to go protect their flock. You get me? Whereas it wouldn't start by sending back their flock now, that means they can't do it again. Africans are going to win now. And what Traoré start happening right now, and that's why people don't understand, you know. And that's why Traoré are creating a wave right now in Africa, you know. And when him start happening right now in South Africa, and him not there South Africa. But I just when him start right now make white people afraid. Is that they're afraid say next leader I go pre like Traoré and say, who no need to live?
While all that is being said, saying, me I say, the white own land,
Mm-hmm.
whether or not then give back 10% or not, white own land,
Eh?
small, you know.
No, but no, it's small. Well, I know you say small, you know, but here we don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
You see, fan, you see them type of people where they there in the first set of picture them we show.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, them take the prime land them and make the people them like the black people them get the land them when it make no sense.
Yeah.
They're too far from water.
Mm-hmm.
You can't farm. Down you then here one land where stream run right side of you and you over next side too. And you are a prime farmer. Everything will go good for you. Or even if you then near one main road. And I say the white people them realize that from then and them take the prime land them, you better tell in a video, and force the black people them to the second hand class land them. So then can't make it no oh and you know when they free up the land them and them get back some of the prime land them like elite black people them have money and get it back. Them now have a training. And the white people them just give them abruptly so. So you will even give them with plants on it and it still fail. Because them not have no training. And I say, Traoré realize that. And that's why them a build the road them themselves. And I feel say, man, I pray this. If we build the road them and they mash up, would that be we fail? We are going to build them again. You get me? And that me feel say, all leaders in Africa have to pray because if we continue to depend on white people, them are going to always keep it down there so.
Crucially, and most controversially, while the law allowed for payment, it also permitted land to be taken without compensation under certain conditions. Under normal circumstances, this would have passed largely unnoticed internationally. However, the measure coincided with Trump's return to office and his close relationship with Elon Musk. While not an Afrikaner, Musk was a white South African raised during the apartheid era and had been increasingly sympathetic to far-right causes. To this end, he insisted that the law was part of a broader systematic effort to wipe out South Africa's white population. And before long, Trump was also echoing the claims, referring to genocide and the brutal mass killing of farmers. On the 7th of February 2025, just weeks after taking office, Trump signed an executive order calling for the United States to resettle Afrikaner refugees as victims of unjust racial discrimination.
This AI turns your ideas. Want to create a coloring book. All you do is...
And just 3 months later, the first group of 60 arrived in the United States. Meanwhile, the issue became a source of political tension between the United States and South Africa. This was highlighted when the South African ambassador to Washington was expelled after he accused Trump of white supremacism. However, more recently, the South African president, Cyril Ramaphosa, has attempted to rebuild relations. And it's against this backdrop that he visited the White House on the 21st of May. But any hopes of a calm meeting was soon dashed. Trump used the opportunity to ambush the South African president by unveiling a presentation making the case for a white genocide. This included footage of a prominent political leader singing a racist anti-white song and photos of an alleged burial ground for 1,000 white farmers.
These are all white farmers that are being buried.
President Trump.
So, is there really a white genocide taking place in South Africa? Perhaps unsurprisingly, by any reading of the Genocide Convention, the answer is a clear and definitive no. While the land reform proposals may certainly worry many white South Africans, and there's clear evidence that rural Afrikaners have been negatively affected by the transition to majority democracy, this hardly counts as a systematic attempt to eliminate them, either in whole or in part. Likewise, while the white population is declining, both in relative and absolute terms, evidence suggests that this has been driven by immigration combined with an ageing population and a low birth rate, rather than through specific targeted acts of violence by the state. Indeed, there's no evidence to suggest orchestrated violence against farmers. With almost 7,000 murders in the last quarter of 2024, South Africa is acknowledged to be one of the most dangerous countries in the world. However, data shows that most killings take place in a relatively small number of urban hotspots and are invariably involving the murder of black South Africans. Indeed, figures show that just 12 murders took place on farms and that only one of those involved a white farmer. The rest were believed to be black South Africans who either lived or worked on the farms. As for the photos unveiled by Trump, later analysis showed that the claims had been wholly false. But it goes beyond this. It's also worth noting that no other country, nor any credible international human rights organisation, has made such claims against South Africa. Similarly, aside from the rebuttals from the South African government, including comments made by President Ramaphosa during his meeting with Trump, the claims have also been dismissed by the nation's courts. Of course, whilst some may be sceptical about such denials, South Africa is widely regarded as a functioning democracy with an independent judiciary. Finally, and perhaps most crucially, the claims have even been dismissed by the farmers themselves. And it's for all these reasons that the accusations that there's a white genocide taking place in South Africa is simply unsupported by any credible evidence. However, no serious observer ever believed that this was a real accusation. It was all about Trump cozying up to Musk. And that brings us to the more significant issue at play. Given everything happening in Gaza, Ukraine, and many other places around the world, such frivolous and unfounded claims of a white genocide are an affront to human decency. This is even more so when it's used to justify granting refugee status to one small and seemingly undeserving group at a time when the Trump administration has closed the door to millions who are genuinely in need. But of course, if the United States stands by its claim, it's always welcome to refer the matter to the International Court of Justice. Indeed, as a signatory of the Genocide Convention, one could argue that it has a legal, political and moral responsibility to do this if, as it claims, there is indeed a systematic attempt to eradicate the white Afrikaners.
You get more satisfaction. You see, turning neck extra when you want up Trump.
It can be that, no doubt. And that's why I tell myself, you know, critical thinking. So I'm not stop this. So I'm not going to just get the information and take it as fact, don't. So me eventually I go fact check it, don't. Alright. So I went to fact check it. Donald Trump confronted the president Cyril Ramaphosa during a tense exchange in the White House on Wednesday with a series of contested claims about the killing of white farmers in South Africa. The meeting, first warm and light-hearted, quickly changed tones as Trump asked his staff to play a video mostly showing South African opposition Julius Malema chanting a song calling for violence against white farmers. Alright, the next part of the article says, the rows of crosses mark graves of white farmers. The footage played by Trump in the Oval Office showed rows of white crosses stretching off into the distance along a rural road. Trump claimed, these are burial sites right here. Burial sites over 1,000 of white farmers. However, the crosses do not mark graves. The video is from a protest against the murder of white farming couple Glenn and Vida Rafferty, who were ambushed and shot dead on their premises in 2020. The clip was shared on YouTube on the 6th of September, the day after the protest. It's not a burial site, but it was a memorial. Rob Hudson, one of the organizers of the event, told the BBC he said the crosses were created as a temporary memorial to the couple. So up on the roadside, the crosses them there, if you can see in the picture.
So the picture is a true picture.
Yeah, it's like the
it's
people.
Not a burial ground. It's like
lanterns. Yeah, it's like the people you notice I be a farming equipment you see in the road too. The people drive the farming equipment like and bike out of dead in Jamaica and the whole of bike of them come out. That the farmers them do. So they plant the crosses them on the two side of the road and I drive up like how would I put candlelights. Then a cross is them they use.
No crosses.
But Trump play it and I say a South Africa white people are dead. Well, me I tell myself say Don't blame Trump, you know. Blame the people who have feed Trump the information because
Blame
they
people.
realize that Trump gullible like that as a president. And Elon Musk, I am basically in right hand. And I am having money. So if you must say this to Trump, Trump will just go along with it.
Dozens of Afrikaners who claim discrimination in their home country are heading to the United States,
Right.
where your administration is going to welcome them as refugees. Now, this comes as you've halted virtually all refugee admissions for people fleeing famine and war from countries like Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Why are you creating an expedited path into the country for Afrikaners but not others?
When you hear that,
Because they're
they
being
might create
killed.
an expedited path
We don't
into
want
the
to see
country.
people be killed. But it's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about. But it's a terrible thing that's taking place. And farmers are being killed. They happen to be white. But whether they're white or
They happen
black
to be
makes
white.
no difference to me. But white farmers are being brutally killed, and their
Him
land
no
is
know where
being
I talk about, bro.
confiscated
Me I
in
tell you,
South
in this
Africa.
situation,
And the
him no matter.
newspapers and the media, television media doesn't even talk about it. If it were the other way around, they talk about it. That would be the only story they talk about.
Well, maybe Trump just want to box some farmer in the United States of them blow. He must say, yo, well, South Africans, we get one Elon Musk from there. Then, them are farmers, them are work, them are do business, it a work. Take you all of them. Maybe we help with economically.
We're going to fact check one next one. As me are telling you, say, look at me, we just feel like, say, you see them picture and them thing here with Trump will get placed beside Trump.
Bad information.
It's for just Trump making point, while Trump are trying to make a point where he might get feed wrong information. I watch this now. What documents did Trump present as evidence? During the meeting, Trump held up a series of articles which he claimed showed evidence of white farmers killing in South. There was an image clearly visible as Trump spoke and said, "Look, here's a burial site all over the place. These are all white farmers that are being buried." All right, know them people, them a fact check it, right? But the image isn't from South Africa.
I see him thing
It's
that.
actually from a report about woman being killed in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And about the article and about the story I read a while up there, you know. It's a different story that I might tell you say. It's like some people nitpick some stories out of Africa and show him say, all of them happen in South Africa.
Yeah.
The French news agency AFP initially pointed out the
So
image,
Trump team a follow
and the
TikTok too.
BBC verified ran a search and confirmed it as being from a Reuters news agency clip in the Congo city of Goma in February. Alright, so more will present the next fact check because I not at this one. As we may say, we know say a critical thinking now, we not have one place. What if BBC does a chat foolish?
One group, the white Afrikaner ethnic minority that once led South Africa's brutal apartheid regime. The
Yeah.
first group has already arrived in America, claiming they've been victims of violence and discrimination. Professional hunter Dolph Grobler hopes he's next.
I'm worried that the genocide, which is currently mainly focused on white farmers, is going to spread.
Claims of a white genocide are often circulated by right-wing groups,
To put it into context,
but are simply not true, said Afrikaner academic Piet Krokamp.
there's no sign of it, never has been. This is the land of milk and honey if you're white.
More than half of
Hear that?
all farming land
The
is
land of
owned by
milk and honey,
7% of
if
the
you're white.
population, white South
Black
Africans.
people land
And
that
while
you
the
wanna chat
country
for.
has a staggeringly high crime rate, Afrikaner cattle farmer Nick Serfontein says it is not racially motivated.
I sleep with my doors open here on the farm. As die bekkie breed is, hy
Serfontein is training a new
Hey, is a
generation
farmer that
of
we are
more than
here for.
700 black farmers.
I'm extremely positive.
And if you don't realize from the video before where brother did I say, the people were dead from the farm and not only white people. I think of one white people, man say. And most of them are black people that live or work on the farm.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah, allegedly. But look how much black people that work for this a white man. So if you don't understand, say allegedly, I forward off for something. I
So
say
are
that's
the
why I
young
don't
people
stop with
in
the
South Africa,
research.
the young farmers.
But listen what me I said too.
Yeah.
Saying misinformation or disinformation can be the whole topic of the video. Yeah. 'Cause what if them people is an extreme minority, you know, dog?
Yeah.
The white people them Them are
7%.
4.5 million out of 63
Yeah, which is
million.
7%. Yeah.
Zin, what if them a get news from all about Zin, like a TikTok over there too?
No, but what me I say is it be South Africa.
What me I say, but still.
Oh, what if them a get news from all about?
Yeah.
And it does look like a South Africa.
Like a South Africa.
Okay,
Zin,
so them
and them genuinely believe say dog.
genocide a go on.
A close in.
Genocide a go on.
Zin, and cause you were going, you were the first man with them interview from this man. He say, him say, the woman say them feel them a get targeted, looked at some type of way and rare. Why the flip not? More the racist towards you too. A predominantly free country. Remember we hear about apartheid and we walk and consume upon the best lands. Dog, if you ever forward down in a free side of the city, how you want to look upon you? Sweet?
I go show you, I realize they have a right to be angry, yes, I don't say no, But me literally feel say, I would have like Jamaica, where the gay people them feel say we literally a goat, I go choose to kill them. Yeah. And they don't understand say when them bring them gayness to a straight person, why
if that were the case, that was the case.
Yeah,
if
no,
it were the case now,
most gay people them we are dead, bro.
We are cut dead because a third.
Most gay people we are dead because one next gay somebody kill him, I know one straight somebody just go kill him because him a gay.
Like.
No, as much as they say we're homophobic. I tell you, most straight person when me know say that brother they are gay. We just not go in that way. We just not talk to him and not heal him and him fi do the same. The same moment him try forward in my part at that time.
They're positive. They want to be here. They want to farm.
In a country where he says the land must be shared by black and white.
And Deborah joins us now from Johannesburg. Deborah, good to see you, and thank you for that report. Do we know how many farmers have been killed?
Well, Tony, there are over 50 farm murders a year here, white farmers and black farm workers. But there were also a total of nearly 27,000 murders last year. The crime rate is clearly unacceptably high in South Africa, but the violence is indiscriminate and more black South Africans are killed than white, Tony.
Deborah, hey.
No, I'm not going to make it look like, more black are going to kill than white because there is more black predominantly than white. Obviously. No doubt. But what the fact is, there isn't a genocide. If there was a genocide going on, right? Statistic of white people death with a much higher.
I'm very curious about this question. What are South Africans saying about yesterday's Oval Office meeting? There were a lot of comments in this country. What are they saying in South Africa?
Well, Gail, you've been here. You know South Africans often respond with humor. This is the country that gave you Trevor Noah, after all. And everyone's joking that they're surprised to wake up and suddenly find it's too dangerous to go outside because there's a white genocide. So there is humor and there's also frustration. As for Afrikaner farmers, most will say Uncle Donnie, as they call President Trump, is being fed a false narrative.
Exactly,
they're quite happy here and they've got no intention of heading for the US, Gail.
All right, Deborah,
Uncle
Donnie, that was...
People were scared by the wrong information.
Hey, Alice, if we don't know, a Gail has the choir, Gail Thomas is one where they interview R. Kelly. We're supposed to remember from the interview there. All right, so watch now. I don't need that one now. And then we're going to find one more video. All right, so we're going to watch one next farmer from down South Africa. And listen to him.
Have a genocide in South Africa.
This South African farmer wants to set the record straight. He wrote an open letter to US President Donald Trump after Trump offered Afrikaner farmers refugee status.
But it's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about, but it's a terrible thing that's taking place, and farmers are being killed. They happen to be white.
The first group of 59 Afrikaners traveled to the US in early May. It has raised questions about why a group of white South Africans of Dutch and French descent are being granted refugee status when the Trump administration has stopped all other refugee programs. DEAGA represents a large farmer organization which has members across South Africa. He says while it's true that farm murders are a major problem, Trump hasn't got the facts straight.
I wrote the letter to Trump because I feared that he might have a misunderstanding of what is going on here. We thanked him for having sympathy with our cause, but we also said, rather help us to make things better here. Help us to, within our lifetime, fix the problems we have here. And it's not only a race thing. Black farmers have similar problems too, and we need those problems also to be attended to.
Trump's genocide claims are a result of brutal attacks on farmers in South Africa. Most of the murders happened during armed robberies. There's a large memorial at Nampo, South Africa's largest farming expo, dedicated to farm murders. It contains around 2,800 names, going as far back as the 1970s. One thing that stands out about this event is the diversity. We've seen many Afrikaners, but we've also seen many black people in attendance. This memorial includes the names of black farmers who were victims of farm murders, debunking the idea that it's a crime that only affects white people. And those we spoke to say while they are concerned about farm murders, they don't want to leave South Africa.
If people want to do it, I think it's a good idea. It gives them an option out if they want. But I personally would not do it. This is my country. And that is something that Mandela fought for, is for freedom for all.
I cannot really say there's a genocide in South Africa. The only thing that is happening is it's a crime in general. You know, in every country, in every places, we do have crimes, irrespective of race, you know. So I think the genocide issue is exaggeration.
No genocide now go on, brother. Then there's a few Trump, some misinformation. And them a few Trump the misinformation forward from Elon Musk, me believe. Literally me believe that. Say forward from him because they want to get back people in their country, as I say. And if they want to do that, in a long run, if they just take them back, people are say, oh, you reject the other people and just accept them money, right? A farmer them, if we get some farmer in our country right now, when we are do so much reform, right, then the better for we.
Yeah.
What you mean, man?
Tactically.
Tactically.
Like from a business standpoint, white farmers, because that was one of the narratives. Oh, when Trump run out, the whole of black people, they want, who gonna work in factories, who gonna work in farms, You hear me I say, Jamaica don't make misinformation result in the same thing where I reach Trump right now. South Africa reach Uno and Chore and Joe.
I mean, if you understand what really are going in Africa, not true because of Jamaica alone with it. Instead of video, I want you to go one place in Africa where the black people are allowed to live there. And if you're black, you cannot live there, you cannot work there. I will never see me talk.
I'm in love with Orania.
Yes.
Can I stay in here?
You're not African.
Afrikaners are descendants of Dutch settlers who arrived at the Cape of Good Hope on a boat in the year 1650.
I want to even remember from the video before with the youth. You might tell us when the white people arrive, we spot them they capture first. The Cape. Same place that you tell about, Cape of Good Hope. And that's how they start from as white people. And then control the land them as white people.
52. Would you say that Orania is a controversial town in South Africa?
Orania is definitely. I don't have to doubt it. I know that Orania is controversial.
Orania. What is happening? Can somebody answer?
Section 235 of the South African Constitution acknowledges the right of cultural groups to self-determination. But what about the Afrikaner enclave of Orania, which also uses race to determine who can be allowed to live in that community?
The main reason why it's controversial is misperception. I think so, it's my personal opinion. Misperception about Orania. The people who have the most to say about Orania have never visited.
Just say a prayer for my city. Just say a prayer for my city.
And what are your favorite things about Orania?
Have you ever seen a 16 or 17-year-old girl walk around 9 o'clock at night? Anywhere in South Africa?
It's not common.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't have burglar guards, and if they leave a bike somewhere, tomorrow morning it's still there.
Would you agree with me if I say that this man performed a lot of atrocities in the past?
It's our history.
But I know it's your history, but at the end of the day, a lot of people were harmed in the process. You don't think if you are embracing this, you're definitely embracing apartheid?
Is it okay to celebrate Shaka Zulu leader? Do you know who that is?
I know who Shaka Zulu is.
He killed a lot of people. Is it fine to celebrate him?
That's a question for South Africans.
That is a question. This is a question for Iranians.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
In all fairness,
Yeah.
Man make one point alone where if my community there run some, I don't want to visitors neither. I don't want to stay so neither because some run my yard. Zane, me used to have like 15 people come check me at the time on the block. Zane, if you left your phone, weed, your money, the condoms, anything at all you left, be it your cup of rum,
It have the day.
if you come back next week,
As some yard run.
Zane, it's
If
just...
you leave your phone in my yard and forward, you
Dog.
don't supposed to forward and I say, yo, you leave your phone and can't find it.
You
Which
know
part,
what?
man?
You know much time some little things missing and my people them would want to say, yo. And so much people come through and I tell them,
Hey,
say, yo,
copy
nobody
nice,
gonna take
man.
your
Let
budget.
me give you a
Yeah,
prime
I say,
example. Let me give you a prime example. I was saying, one time I remember when 20 bag of weed I sell. My mother forward in and you know, said, oh, I can't move, I buy 20 bag of weed for me. I mean, I want my dog there, reason, you know. And you know, say, move forward, move just show the 3 weed them, give me say. See 3 weed, a boy. And you know, we don't buy no weed, give me, but you just show them like, make it nonchalant, you know. So you see, when me there, and I'm reason my dog cut and I can't find the weed, me I say, mommy, no, so I can't find the weed them. Mommy, I said to myself, I wonder if your virgin take up it. I guess, mommy, I can tell you this, man, listen me. You see, if you tell if I look a while, you see, even if you wanted 3 of them, you might look directly in my eye and tell me, say, dog, me I take them weed and I go dance or something, and I'm gone. He not take them and gone.
Yeah,
He
man.
might take them and tell me, say, bro, I gone with them, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Before
And me
left.
say, me I talk about to find at night and me tell me say you have day time because we are search for it and can't find it. And but me tell her when to find it. In the morning and so when she find it, she say, mommy, you know where you do that talk, say, man. Yeah, some mother call me people. Because I tell her, you not go with it. So me feel say every youth you hard for you.
Brother. Zane.
So me no object to what I say, you know the reason why I play it.
Yeah.
And why is why I want to play a little bit more right. It's to show people say white people still have them privilege in South Africa like where them have. Them even have more privilege in South Africa than when they have
Tell us if you're
America.
white in South Africa, land of only and gold.
Decades in South Africa abolished apartheid, a system of racially segregating black people from white people. The country got rid of it in the 1990s, but the spirit of apartheid is still alive in some places. One of them is Orania, a remote town in the country's north, often called the last outpost of apartheid. Why? Because Orania is a whites-only town. Black people cannot live or work here.
Okay.
Every job is reserved for the whites. Every task performed by white people. And yet the residents of this town insist they're not racist. Here's a report.
Hey, Mama pissed off. And yet the residents of
to
this town is
Orania, a remote farming town in South Africa's northern Cape.
So I don't want to feel like I was on little 2 hours.
It prints its own money.
Exactly.
Runs its own banks,
They have
has
their own
its own
electricity.
holidays, and manages its own affairs. Sounds like the perfect township to relocate, right? Well, hold your horses. To enter Orania, you have to qualify on certain parameters. The
One.
foremost is the color of your skin.
Okay.
It has to be white, because Orania is a whites-only town. The uniqueness is too obvious to ignore. Wherever you go in this township, you will only find Afrikaners. White people with Dutch ancestry. They do all the work, from playing the piano at the church to reading out the Bible to believers, to running the kitchen at a restaurant.
wonder how the hospital rates.
to even gardening at orchards.
Not
All
even garden
jobs,
at
big or
the
small, are
Wouldn't see us,
reserved for white people. But the residents of this town insist that they're not racist.
We are from Africa, that's why we call ourselves Afrikaners. We want to remain here. We also want to retain our identity. Now, to retain one's identity is not a racist impulse. We wanted to retain our identity against the English or the British imperialism also, and they're even whiter than we are, much whiter.
Orania is often dubbed as the last outpost of apartheid, a system of institutionalized racial segregation. South Africa abolished apartheid in the 1990s, but the legacy lives on in Orania. In fact, the township was founded by the son-in-law of Hendrik Verwoerd, South Africa's former prime minister, who's considered to be the architect of apartheid. Verwoerd's bust lies at the museum in this township, serving as a reminder of his beliefs. As for Nelson Mandela, the man credited with ending apartheid, the people of Orania don't really hold him in high regard.
I don't think that I can see him as a hero because he's part of a whole package. Mandela is part of a whole package, and as Mandela, all the other leaders within the ANC make a contribution to create some policy that is, from our viewpoint, not necessarily for the best of this country.
Mandela is not a hero, they say. And they're not racist, they insist. So what is this town all about? An attempt to protect their culture. This township is legal as per South Africa's constitution.
No, well, I know. Saying people really listen to that and listen to that brother they talk to Paul. The man genuinely speak from the heart and the man tell you say you can't see him as a hero. When the first video we watch, I tell you say the white people them implement apartheid to make the white people them get better lands, better structure and rule the better part of the country and put the black people them in the most fucked up part. Now Mandela come abolish that, get people out of apartheid. And the man say man are no hero. And you gotta tell me say no racist no night. Listen me. If he must say no racist no night, racism in my speech now what me I say. If me the Africa and them as a genocide are going, I would have to say if you get 2 truck, drive go Orania and make sure so them people have to lift up next.
Lift up
every
first.
single
We
one.
have to tell you, Orania first. If genocide did go on.
Yeah. And that me assure you say no genocide now go on. That are my premiums to it. Trump just get feed him wrong information, you see it?
Misinformation are the key to this. So Jamaica gonna stop for everything gonna sit on TikTok. Trump too. Look come up.
Is that dentist by
A
the
black
way?
person in my chair not too long ago called me the N-word. More specifically, he called me his N-word. You my
nigga.
N-word.
You my nigga.
It's never happened to me before. Never had a black person, definitely not at work, for sure. I don't think any time in my entire life has that ever happened. At the same time, he puts his hand out like this. You my N-word. Puts his hand out, and then my hand goes into his. So imagine one of these hands is black. And then the hands come together. It felt like a sonic boom was created. This warmth entered my body. And I felt like we solved racism. Just right then and there.
Weird.
Like, it was like everything's okay. We are cool AF. We're good. That's what it felt like. What did I do for him? I rushed his crown. So crowns normally are a 10-day turnaround, and he was traveling and had some commitments. Like, I got to have that sooner. And I was like, let me make a phone call. Have it back to you in 3 days. You my. Boom. Hand clasp. Sonic boom. Racism solved. So now I'm his ride or die. And I don't think he knows that. So black people, you want a ride or die white person? Call him your N-word. It comes at a cost.
Yeah.
It comes at a cost.
True.
Because now I think, I'm not going to say the N-word. But I'm thinking about it. I shouldn't even be thinking about that. But I am thinking about it. And I know I shouldn't. But it's like you get into a club that you're you're never going to get into normally, but someone vouches for you, so you're in there. Now, you're in the club, but that doesn't mean you can act like a fool when you're in the club. You can't do that. You'll get kicked out of the club, never invited back. So I'm in the club, and I'm so excited, like I just don't know if I can behave myself. So that's the cost. But man, does it feel good. It might be the most amazing thing that's ever happened to me in my life. Definitely in my career. Definitely in my career. For sure. Oh, you're a fellow for the American Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry? Oh, that's a nice certificate. Have you ever had a black person call you their N-word? No? Yeah, keep working. Keep working hard. You'll get there. Trust me. Just keep working hard.
Yeah.
It's the pinnacle of accomplishment. I don't even care about anything else. That's all I want. I want that more. What's the only thing better than having that happen once? Have it happen twice. So I think that means I have to rush crowns for all my black patients. Is that racist? I don't care. I don't care. I'm chasing that feeling. I'm solving racism one rushed crown at a time.
And that's where anyway. Admit your racism, brother. And that's where anyway. Admit your racism.
See, fully African.
Yeah.
No, that racist.